In studio, our guest this morning to this topic is Loufi, better known as a musician, a rapper, a hip-hop artist, Afrikaanse kunstenaar. Min mense weet altyd, jy weet waarvan af 'n mens kom en wat se pad jy geloop het tot daar. You know, they only see you, only kind of see you and recognize you once you've kind of made it. But it's a long road to there. Am I right in saying the long road, it doesn't always leave you?
No.
It plays a role for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You grew up in PE,
Yeah.
much like myself. You grew up in Berg at school now in PE. And those were tougher times for you.
Yeah, I think I don't know if a lot of people know my history, but my drug of choice that time was tik and man drugs, and I was just a curious kid. Ek was 'n nuuskierige laaitie gewees. I just wanted to know what it feels like, you know. The guy came to me one day, a friend of ours. He's like, yo, he did this the weekend and it felt amazing. Alles just felt like the world stopped, you know. And then that's where I started the first time. I remember doing it the Friday, and then I left school the Monday, and then it was chaos from there, because now you're dealing with all these new feelings that the drug's creating, but you can't talk to your parents or your close circle because you're like, we're not supposed to do this. And that was my battle for about 2 years. 2 years I was just clapping it, and I was like, well, if I can't talk to anyone, I might as well just smoke. And then you talk to your fellow drug addicts, and they're just telling us, ons het nog hier also, you know, we got more pille here. And but I think that the changing point for where I left it was not just, I'll get to the point where it changed, but I remember one afternoon we sat and I looked down I had a Long Johns on. My granny still gave me a Long Johns. I had a Long Johns on, and I was smoking. And I looked down to the guys and I'm like, yo, how did you guys get here? It's like, wat praat jy? I'm like, nah, ek weet nie, hoe het julle hier gekom nie? And they're like, no, we've been smoking together for this past week already. And I realized for that week I didn't consume any food. I just smoked. Wow. And obviously your brain can't just run on drugs for a long time. And to Pacific, I'm about to lose my consciousness and who I am. And I just slowly started moving away from them. And I met a bra on the corner, Dionysius. He's a brave man, I mentioned him many times, and I just told him I can't live like this no more. He didn't ask any questions. Little did I know what he went through as a drug addict. And found God in that corner, and my lewe daar net geflip. You know, it never went back to being the same.
And not all these stories are stories of a downward spiral.
Yeah.
There's no good ending for anybody that goes down that route, because as much as the irony is that the fact that it alters your mind, your brain, that's the crux of it. That's the gist of it. That's exactly what it does, and it's never for the better. And the mental health issues that you have after that, I suppose, it does affect your mental health, right?
I was sober for 2.5 years. Me and Emmy just got married. I was sober for 2.5 years, and I remember coming home from work. I had a normal job, guys. I had a normal job, cruised down, and all of a sudden, like, I think guys who's been on drugs can relate, and even alcohol and stuff. There's certain smells and tastes that reminds you of certain things. Yeah. And I can't remember what it was, what I smelled that night, but I could smell tik. And I was like, yo, this is a feeling that I haven't had in 2 years, and it's a scary one.
The craving.
And it was hectic. Literally, I felt my jaw tighten up and my eyes get hard. And I called Emmy and I was like, this is starting to happen. And she's like, what do you want to do? I said, I just want to come home. She's like, well, then just come home. And I realized her being that serious, but not that serious, was like, bro, if you make this choice tonight to smoke, you lose everything you worked for. You know? I had a normal day, 8 to 5. I was getting home at like 10. But I had a normal job. I had a normal life. Ek was gelukkig, you know. And if I ruined that, I mean, Aaron was just, you know, it was not even a thought that time. And if I smoke now, I lose all of that. I lose all the trust I gained in my friends, family, all of that stuff. And I just went home and I battled for it for like, I think 5 years. I'm sober now 12 years. But on 5 years, it was difficult still, because certain smells and certain things people describe when a drug addict just sobers up and he talks about what he went through, and I'm like, ek weet exactly wat jy nou van praat. Now I can do it. Now it's fine. I can even watch movies now where people do it. But on the 5 year, 6 year mark, it was bad.
Was still tough.
And it lives with you. The next, you watch that movie or whatever, and the next Monday, Tuesday, you literally thinking of all of these things, all of the smells and all of the feelings. And it was rough, bro. I remember nights I was sober, like I had no drugs in my system, and I remember sitting next to Emmy and falling asleep, not really realizing I'm spiraling into that depression and that anxiety. And I would literally hear the last person I spoke to speak. And I would wake up and I tell Emmy, ek het nou net Martin gehoor praat. And she's like, he's mal, man, Martin's not here, And I had to deal with that for many years. And I just pushed through, and doctors wanted to say it's this or it's that or it's that. And I just realized I need to like strengthen what I believe in and just push through.
Loufi, I have some experience with drug addiction in my family, and I've often thought to myself, drug addiction is you trying to fill something.
Yeah.
There's a hole, there is a something that you're trying. What were you trying to fill? What was missing that you were trying to either numb or fill with drugs?
So for me, I'm not bashing my dad or them or anyone, but I was the only child. It was just me. So where my friends had sisters and brothers and stuff, it was just me. You get home, like with my boy now, we try and spend more time with him. You choose the movie, you choose this. With my parents, they also had normal jobs. So my dad was working night shift, my mom was always obviously working. So by the time they get home, they're tired, which I now only understand. But with friends, you could speak anything. So the stuff that was supposed to happen in my house, like that loving, that caring, that nurturing, wasn't happening there. It was happening in the streets, where the Owens made you feel safe, and where the Owens made you feel, nou ons accept jou soos jy is, nee, is kwaai man, moenie worry oor hulle nie.
Belonging.
So the belonging thing was kind of that, because when we smoked weed, you talk about life and what we would be. That's the stuff you talk to your parents about, your aspirations and your goals. And now you're sitting in a circle with this bra, still just talking about his dream, and you're realizing the story he's spinning you today, he also spent 15 years ago to the bra that's now working overseas. You know what I mean? And he's still sitting behind the shop. And I think that was just the emptiness I was feeling, like that belonging and stuff.
Well, people have to hear both sides of the story, because you can be more than one thing.
Yeah.
You cannot only be a success.
Yeah.
You can also share with people the vulnerabilities and the failures that you've had in your life, right? And isn't that healing in a way?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I didn't want to ride my story when we just entered the industry, because I didn't want to have pity. I just wanted to, everyone must see the work and then wonder where I come from.
Sure.
And I think that made it quite deep and quite special, because now we can do a Baas van die Plaas on stage, and then afterwards chat to a mother that's struggling with her kid, and she's just not seeing, she's not seeing Loufi. She's getting to see a genuine side, of myself. So that's quite lekker. I just want to add quickly, Martin's saying doing what other artists can't do. Martin's hiding bangers, by the way. So we'll wait for the new year, Donkey. Thank you.
Thank you, Loufi.
I've heard all the
Thank
bangers.
you. The truth will out.
Bangers wegsteken. Yes.
What does depression feel like? What does depression feel like for you?
So I firstly want to just say, like, online we see too many kids use the word depression so lightly. I feel depressed because they took your Xbox or they took your PlayStation. That's not depression. Depression is feeling like you can't get up in the morning. You don't want to go. You feel like, I just want to hide. If I can just go home, just go lay, go sleep, go scroll on my phone for hours. I think depression is different for everyone, Like, it's now 12 years later and I still hit dips. Where I'm like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't even want to go to the show.
Don't have the energy.
I don't have the energy. I literally want to get to the show 1 minute before I get on stage, and then as soon as I'm done, I want to leave. And that affects that can affect my family many times. I pull away. I just want to be one side. Boy, I don't want to go kick ball. Depression can look different
Sure.
to a lot of people.
That is an incredibly important point. I think the language we use, we've become lazy. We've become lazy, and I often see this one guy on TikTok, I think specifically, where he brings up this chart and he finds other ways of saying things. Instead of saying you feel depressed, you can say I'm disappointed. Instead of saying you're sad, you can say something else. That is, depressed has become just an
word.
overused word, and it sometimes makes people miss the point. Because you can be disappointed without suffering from depression.
Yes.
You can be sad without suffering from depression, but that's where professionals are so important. They are trained to understand the difference. So many words get thrown around these days. Narcissism.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Narcissism and this and even other words. So many words. Let's not go there. Let's not have it. Depression is a real thing. You can deal with it. There are things that can take you on a downward spiral once again, like drugs. Alcohol is a legal drug, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I actually wanted to just ask you about that, Loufi, because I know that you have now quit drinking.
Yep.
And I think that in this country in particular, I think we have a major drinking problem. And I think that a lot of people use the legal drug of alcohol to hide, run away, mask. But it's numb. But it's really hard though, because we also socialize with alcohol. And you, particularly as a musician, you are literally in the places, performing in the places where alcohol is encouraged.
Yeah.
How did you firstly get to the point where you went, actually enough is enough, this isn't good for me? And secondly, how do you keep on doing it without slipping back, because friends, people, places,
bars,
people are drinking?
I think it's for me it was a ego-based thing, because ek is sterker wanneer ek kom drink. You know, if a couple of shots before my show,
confidence.
Then I want to say more cocky than confident. Like I would perform, give my set, I'm in my element, I'm in my vibe. Like we say, it's like a legal drug. Like I'm completely someone different.
You're flowing.
And then afterwards I would stand my ground, and the next morning you wake up, you're like, should I have spoken to Martin like that, or should I have, could I have handled it better? But you can't gauge that, because you're a completely different person when you drink. And I think just the mornings waking up feeling tear, feeling sick. I remember we had a friend of mine, Devin, was here from PE, played in Bloemfontein, but we felt weird, man. I only had 2 drinks. The Wednesday, that was the weekend. The Wednesday, me and him walked to Duscam. I was like, we need to get a vitamin B shot or something.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, yes, man, dat voel. And he finished my sentence. He's like, dat voel ons loop kant toe. Like we're weird, we're off balance. And we definitely felt like we got spiked.
Wow.
But you'll never know.
Yes.
4 whiskeys can make you feel like, 4 bottles of whiskeys make you feel like 1 glass with a pillikie in makes you feel, you know what I mean? So I think it was just a wake-up call, and then obviously he's like, nah, I'm gonna take off this weekend, I'm not gonna drink. And then you take off one weekend, next weekend you're back, until I played Durban last year, September, with the same mindset, I'm gonna just drink less, but you don't really drink less. Someone just doesn't offer you more,
Okay.
Wanneer die shots come, then you take it. You know what I mean? And I was performing, I looked down and I looked up, and I forgot Witskuna's lyrics. I never forget Witskuna's lyrics. And I felt like someone was pouring water on me, and I looked back at Austin, and he looked perfectly fine. And I take the mic away, and I'm like, is it warm? And he's like, no, it's normal. He just shows me perform. What are you doing?
Going, yeah.
And that was the night my liver bombed out. I had an inflammation marker of close to 700 on and I think the level should be like 300 for men. And I couldn't understand. I thought I was gonna die that night.
Sure.
And 3 shows in, it was hectic. And it's been a year later that I have not had a dop. And I spoke to a doctor. He's like, bro, put you next to someone that drinks every day of their life, like literally every morning of their life, and their liver will be more healthy. You unfortunately just had a bad liver. And it's a year later, and I still deal with that. And many men also think, I'm not a doctor, but many men think, I'm just having a tough time. Bruh, your organs and your liver and that stuff has so much to do with your mental space. If your stomach's not right, your mind's not right.
Very good point.
And that popped up. It's a whole year later, and today's Monday. Last week Monday I was in Cape Town the Sunday. The Monday I flew back, I told Emmy, my stomach's bombing out, something's not lekker. And we right back at where we need to start, at the foundation of what's happening with my anxiety and
Gut
my
health.
low feeling. We need to sort the gut health out. And now, as a man, I'm like, I got 4 days to sort it out because Saturday I fly out. I need to be fine by Friday. Saturday I fly out because we got another show. Can't disappoint. Need to do this for my family. You know, can't disappoint the show on that side. It's a lot of stuff we think about, and that wrecks a man's brain at the end of the day.
Definitely want to chat about that next. Dealing with the pressure. Because it's easy to say just change everything in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you know? You quit your job, you move on. No, you need to learn to deal with it better and in a healthier way.
And also just taking on to what you say about drinking, it's a culture that you step into, I find, as a young man, particularly. When I started playing club rugby, it's not anything that anyone says. You just expect it to. We're going to have down drinks at halftime. We're going to have a lekker jol afterwards. It's a culture.
And a joke. People laugh about it.
Yes, and you're proud.
They're not concerned about
No.
it. Some more voice notes coming in.
Wat 'n amazing mens. Ek het die eer gehad om Loufi by die Hoefstak fees te ontmoet. En ek wil net sê hy's absoluut amazing. Maar hy het eintlik tyd gevat om met my en my dogters te praat. Nie gejaag nie, rustige mens. Absoluut tyd vir sy medemens en ek haal my hoed af vir wat jy deur is. Ek met 'n hele nuwe uitkyk na jou begin kyk. Nadat ek met jou gesels het, nadat ons jou storie gehoor het, en ek wil net vir jou sê, wow, jy's absoluut amazing.
And most importantly, thank you for sharing. It has an impact.
Goeiemôre Martin, ek gaan nou maar so praat dat dit man my stem ken nie. What a morning to do this. Maar ek is ook besig om deur 'n lelike addiction te gaan en ek probeer myself regkry alkohol. Ek het amper my 27-jarige huwelik in sy happy hour verloor nou en ja, ek wens dit op niemand toe nie en ek verstaan presies wat Loufi sê. So ek werk daaraan. Dit is baie alleen, maar ja, dit is moeilik.
We got you, brother. Gaan download our app and listen. If you feel that's not enough, I'm telling you now, go and speak to someone. They will give you help, guidance, perspective, and they'll make you realize there's another way of doing it in life. Are you depressed? Do the good things don't feel good anymore? Do you need a substance to help you through it, to make it? Pressure is a big thing. You feel it in your maag. You can't always take the pressure away. You can't take the source of it away because you need to feed the family. You got to have a job.
Yeah.
And jobs aren't always, that easy.
Yeah.
So I get it. You got to deal and change the way you react to it. You got to change the way that you deal with it. And glo vir my, I've said this before and I'll say it again, I'm a firm believer in professional help.
Yes.
Because those people are literally trained to sit and listen to your story and to help you pick the right way of dealing with it, right? It's not like you can stop singing. You can't take away all the temptations. You spoke about a drug addiction. You spoke about dealing with alcohol. You go exactly to the places where all those are found. That is the constant. That stays the same. But the way that you deal with it, right? That's a whole different skill. Am I right?
Yeah, I think going back to where almost saying where it all started and where everything happened, is your sterkmaker. So you kind of put yourself in a position after you feel how strong you actually are. En gaan voel net, you know what I mean? Like, but go with your support system. It's baie belangrik to have a proper circle of friends and people that know you. They're not going to verdink you when you disappear for too long. You know, they got trust in you. Just don't lose that trust with them.
Cut the things you can cut.
Yes.
Change the friends you can change. Change the things you really can change. And there are those things.
Yeah.
There really, really are.
I remember just sitting one day where it was all spiritual encounter, but that's a whole chat for another day. But I remember asking myself, if I have a boy one day, if I have a son one day, do I want to be a drug addict father? You know?
Sure.
And then my son's 7 now, and then obviously I was sober 3 or 4 years when he was born. Yes, my maths is not 8 years, but I was sober when he was born, right? Then I thought to myself, then I came home after shows smelling like dope. You know, I would start undressing myself here by the front door already, and when I get home to the bedroom, my shoes are off, I'm ready to sleep. And then I thought to myself, and obviously being a boy, they come creep in there, they don't give a damn where they sleep. And I thought to myself, yes, now I'm bringing the shebeen to my bed, which was erg. And that was also a wake-up call. It's like, I want to stop this. I want to leave this. And when the thing happened with my liver, the sex was like, nah, this is my cue. I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going back. And now Aaron would say, Dad, is alcohol from the devil? I say, I wouldn't say that, boys. Like, but do you drink? I'm like, no. I'm like, Mommy has a cocktail now and then. Mom might be bad, So, but the thing for him is, it's the picture I'm painting, or the picture he's painted from this whole situation is like, it's fine. I can count on my dad, and that's the main thing. What happens on the streets with kids falling into drugs and stuff is absent fathers. Mothers are always there, shouting, loving, screaming, washing clothes, cooking, making sure the plates in the thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting for me that you're choosing to parent the way that you weren't parented, because that's exactly what's happening here. You're healing inner Loufi by giving your son the dad you never had.
Yeah. Look, we always discipline now and then. Like now, me and my dad would have a relationship where he would just call me. He just wants to speak. He just wants to talk.
Sure.
He doesn't understand actually what work I do. But he's like, the car's this, the car that, the car that. And I'm like, lovely. So now my son comes to me with that same energy, but on a soccer level, Right.
Yeah.
I do not understand soccer. I'm like, yes, boy, she, whatever.
But you're present.
Yeah.
You're being a father. You're there in his life.
But we've got our imperfections.
You were saying, we're just talking about the break just now. When I say professional help, often people think, okay, well, so that is psychiatry.
Psychologist
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? There are many levels down from there. Even your GP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was my GP. That was the person who we just ended up talking. I was there because I needed treatment. Started talking, and I'm like, this guy is a great source. He's a great source. He'll listen to me. He's keen, he's eager, and we have general meetups every now and again, because unfortunately, we do live in a world where not everybody is your ally. You're a man, and I hate to be crass, and we haven't mentioned it because we're being positive right now, but not everybody wants to hear from a man that, oh, I'm feeling down, oh, I'm feeling bad. No, you need to man up. You need to stand up. You need to be the leader, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is the reality of life. Sure. I've heard so many times and felt it and internalized that, oh, well, you're a man. I'm not here to solve your problems. You must deal with your own problems before whatever the case may be.
You're the strong one.
You be that guy. So find your ally, find the person. It doesn't have to be all of your friends, because not all of your friends are there for explicitly that.
So important.
Find your ally.
Find your ally. Well, guys, this has all been, I actually think, very, very helpful.
Exceptionally helpful. Also for me as a woman.
Yeah.
It's been really helpful to hear men speak about the issues they're going through and how I can be better.
We
in
all
helping
know
that
this.
process.
Women know this as well. The healthier men are, the better society.
Yes.
The healthier women, and the more we look after women and children, the better for society. It's not the one or the other.
No.
It is the whole unit.
Yeah.
I think is so important. Loufi, I can sit here and talk to you for hours as always. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, bro.
Love at home. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
That was just incredible. If you want to hear this, we'll podcast it for you. We'll put it on audio on demand on jacarandafm.com.
Breakfast with Martin Bester. Jacaranda FM.